Hello and welcome to We Got a podcast about Dragon Ball from A to Z, from Earth to Namek to Sadala. We cover it all. My name is Randy.
And I'm Doug.
We are the world's strongest under the heavens duo here every other week to talk your ear off about fights, goofs, and everything else in the Dragon Ball cosmos. But before we get into what's new with us, I think we need to introduce our guest for this episode. We've got Colton from Manga Mavericks here for the week. How are you doing, Colton?
I'm doing great, and I'm really happy you invited me on the show, Randy, as basically paying back the favor for being on my Dragon Ball show.
Exactly. You know, it's sharing is caring. So if you invite me on yours, I'll invite you to mine. It's only fair.
Podcast.
Dragon Ball fans have to stick together.
Exactly.
We do.
You know, in Dragon Ball, people become friends by punching each other in the face, but here on the internet, we become friends by having each other on podcasts. It's just how it works.
No, actually, if you listen to the episode that Randy was on, it was actually just an hour and a half of us just punching each other.
I was going to say, just the punch sound back and forth. It's like, be my friend.
And you might be wondering who won that fight. Well, you'll have to pony up the download and find out.
Hey. More power scaling debates. Let's do it.
Exactly. Check out Another Day, Another Adventure. I know that we'll plug that later, but I just had to throw it out there. Man. Doug, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. Just chilling this week. Just came by quickly. I was like, another time to record. Let's do it. Another Broly movie.
We just can't get enough these days, I guess.
I can't wait for the last one, but yeah, this one, we'll get into
this
that.
This one will hold us over.
Exactly.
For now, for our Broly hunger. I'm doing all right, by the way. Thanks for asking.
Totally. I asked you in my mind, and you just were so in sync that you read my mind.
It's that Tenshinhan Chaozu telepathy that we got going on.
Tensa.
I'm doing all right. I'm still chugging along, learning Japanese. I bought some workbooks, so now I'm writing stuff out. And
man, you're getting into it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what's really, really frustrating is that we, my husband and I, have been doing Duolingo to learn Japanese. And I'm further than him because I had like a 20-day lead or whatever. But we bought these workbooks and we bought 2 of every one. And we're going through it. And I think I have decent handwriting. And he does not have good handwriting. But in Japanese, my handwriting is terrible. And his is so good.
And his is great.
It makes me so mad.
He was born to be Japanese.
Yeah, he sent me a text of like just a photo of his workbook, and I'm like, oh wow, I learned something new about me today. I can be super jealous of somebody's handwriting. That's fun.
So funny. That's so bizarre though. That's a human phenomenon that I've never heard of before.
Right, yeah, it's wild. Actually, there's a weird thing. We've got a buddy of mine who is dyslexic, but he found that he has no problem reading Japanese. English gives him trouble, but he's like, yeah, if you're dyslexic in one language and switch to something else entirely that's, different from a Latin-based thing, you probably won't have a problem.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's weird.
I wonder if that has to do something like psychologically with the language itself. You know how Japanese... a whole sentence is structured differently than it is in English, so maybe like it makes more sense to their brain in that way. That's cool.
It's more distinct characters and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the human brain is wild and a mystery.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about psychology or anything of that.
This movie doesn't get that far. It doesn't scratch your brain that much.
No. But we are talking about Dragon Ball Z Movie 11, Bio Broly, or Super Warrior Defeat. I'm the one who will win.
Are you serious? Is that it? That's literally it?
That's it.
There's nothing there.
Can I just say I watched this movie on my own copy of Bio Broly that I bought all the way back in 2005.
Hey.
And it's funny because like the Japanese subtitles have like the title, like the actual Japanese title of the movie, even though like they just like superimpose like the Bio Broly logo over like where the Japanese logo would be.
Yeah.
So they actually translate the title on the DVD as Super Warriors Crushed. I will be the one who wins.
Huh.
That's not
Crushed sounds cooler than Defeat, for sure.
Yeah, it's different at least. I don't think it's any better, but it's different. Why didn't they include the word bio in there anywhere? That's like a giveaway.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. So what is this movie about? Last time I had Doug read our synopsis, but Colton, do you want the honor this time?
Yeah, sure. If I can find it on the dock.
Sorry, I'm bad, and my dock looks very sad and normal and not very pretty.
I still don't even have the dock, so you're ahead of me.
And here we go. After being blackmailed, Mr. Satan and number 18 traveled to battle some bio warriors. Fortunately, Goten and Trunks were hiding in their trunk, and along with number 18, the three battled the bio warriors, and after the fight, Goten and Trunks find a bio Broly, and they accidentally awaken him. Can the fearless duo stop this biological monster? I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have to see the movie.
My brain short-circuited when you read Goten and Trunks are in a trunk. And I'm like, okay. My mind glazed over after that and shut down.
I'm not gonna lie. That took me a minute to kind of like register in my brain. Like Trunks in the trunk. Wait, hold on a
Trunk
second.
in the trunk. Wait, something's happening here.
I was reading ahead and I'm like, oh, that could be trippy. Oh, no, he stuck the landing. It's great. No worries. For context, this movie came out July 9th, 1994, which it premiered after episode 232. And if you listen to our previous episode, movie 10, that movie came out after episode 220. So it'd only been 12 episodes in between the previous film.
Crazy.
Woof.
So close. Episode 232, by the way, is the one where Gohan decides that he is not going to allow Boo to be revived and gives a big old yellow Kamehameha to his seal. I always thought that was weird. It's cool looking, but I just thought it was weird.
Yeah, it's a great moment.
It was directed by Yoshihiro Ueda, who is the director of movie 9. It would go on to do things like Yo, Son Goku and Friends Return.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, we're in good hands here for what we got. So let's talk about this. We're all kind of fresh off of watching it, so let's just go over what happens.
I can't imagine what the reasoning is behind making this movie at all, and like in such a short amount of time too.
We got to cash in on Broly Fever. It's still,
Not
taking
even,
over Japan.
Is it even? Because they didn't even bother drawing him like beyond one or two scenes.
Yeah, I can only imagine what like the production schedule was like for the animators around then. That's just kind of interesting to think about.
Right. Besides another movie, of course, they were doing a television series at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's got to be a pretty busy workload for everybody.
Somebody just really like wanted to draw Bio Broly and like, I got this idea, guys. Just hear me out.
Can we do Broly just one more time?
Just one more time. I swear it'll be different.
He's going to be goopy.
And I know what you're thinking. Wow, I sure am turned on by that idea. And you're right, so am I. Let's do it.
The rest of Japan will be too.
Yeah.
We're going to awaken some things inside people.
The third coming.
God.
I would have loved it if Funimation actually titled the movie that, by the way.
They should have.
The third coming.
So tongue-in-cheek.
That would have been good. I would have given them major props for that. Mm-hmm. So our movie opens with some bio warriors, and we've got some new characters who are talking mysteriously about things and such. I thought it was a pretty neat, kind of cold open of things. We're throwing in these characters. We immediately have one guy who has the inability to remember correct words for phrases, so he kind of gets things mixed up.
Yeah. They're kind of do a good job of like introducing unique traits about these characters in just one or two lines that set them apart from generic, bad guy 1, bad guy 2. I mean, there still are that, but they tried in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Real comedy gold, getting words and phrases mixed up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys caught on to this, because it took me a second and I had to look this up. But Jaga in particular is voiced by Naoki Tatsuda, Mr. Oolong himself.
As soon as Randy said that, and like while we're watching the movie, I'm like, okay, now I just can't not hear Oolong. It's just Oolong now to me, and it kind of ruined that character for me. Like, why do they typecast these characters so badly?
Is he tiny and portly? Oh, that's going to be Oolong's voice actor,
not too tiny though, because if he was too tiny, he'd just be Emperor Pilaf.
Right. Then you get demoted, I guess, to Shigeru Chiba. That's just how it works.
Promoted.
The ADR director is just like, hey, can you come down here?
Yeah, exactly. That's really what it is, and that's why this movie feels extra lazy in that aspect. Like, yeah, we got a portly little guy. Like, we just get the Oolong guy? Let's get him to voice it.
Forget doing some other casting. Just call him in. He'll handle this.
The bio-humans look like just Spopovich and Namu. Or not Namu. What's the other...
Yamu.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That was close.
See, the thing is, like, I think they look way creepier in that cold open than they do the entire rest of the movie, which is kind of unfortunate.
The eyes were, like, bugging out. Like, it was actually super creepy.
Mm-hmm. They start to be goofy more so than creepy. very quickly.
Yeah.
So our sort of starting thing for this movie that kind of jumpstarts our story is 18, shortly after the tournament, is already ready to wring the money out of Mr. Satan after he promised that if she threw the fight, he would pay her the money. So she's already here to collect. Goten and Trunks have come along. So, of course, as Krillin and Marin trying to shake him down before one of the bad guy henchmen that we saw earlier shows up to and shake down Mr. Satan as well.
The best entrance ever, where he somehow ends up falling into the pool with his underwear showing,
with his pants snapping.
He shows
off.
up. He comes out of the limo or whatever with complete suit on. I blink, and next thing I know, I see him falling into a pool with his pants off. Like, what happened?
I'm not sure if this is supposed to inform us of his character, that he's unlucky or that he's clumsy.
I don't know. It's just like a lame attempt at a joke, but
right.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either.
Yeah,
I love how everybody like stops off at Mr. Satan's house, and like Krillin and Goten are kind of talking like 18 needs to like make a trip to the bank to like take some money out.
Yes, that is what it is. Yeah, you're right.
This is just an errand.
It's just another errand.
Stop there. Get our withdrawal from Mr. Satan, the world champion.
It was fun to see this kind of like moment in the series. It's kind of like it's toned down and just funny moments. And I was telling Randy while watching it, I wish that they had shown a scene of like Trunks talking to Goten, like, hey, that blue beam you shot at me during the tournament, what is that? Can you teach me that? And then Goten teaches him that in that moment, so it's not as weird later on in the movie when Trunks is doing the Kamehameha as well, because that's just so out of left field, it feels like.
And it wouldn't have taken very long to do just a quick scene like that, you know?
Exactly.
Just to help accentuate these points.
Just to tie the bow up there. Yeah, it would have been great.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I feel like, me personally, I'm kind of used to characters stealing each other's attacks at this point.
That's true.
Yeah.
True enough. I will say I really like this dynamic we get of introducing Jaga as a rival to Mr. Satan when they were kids. Like, this is a movie I haven't watched a lot of times, and these are plot points that I forgot about entirely.
Completely.
So I'm like, oh, that's cool. I dig this. Like, it's weird that thinking about this character as possibly like a martial artist before just being, a portly man.
You know what they should have done? Instead of calling him a rival, they should have said that Jaga was Mr. Satan's bully growing up.
Ooh,
I would have liked that
maybe
better, because rival doesn't seem that like, it doesn't seem funny like or anything like that, but bully would seem hilarious. That now Mr. Satan's this huge tall guy and he's still this short little guy, but he was a bully that's still bullying Satan by like threatening, to reveal his peeing his pants incident.
Yeah, he doesn't really seem like the kind of guy who ever really took martial arts seriously in the first place.
Exactly.
Like he decided to do it for like maybe a week or two and just kind of gave up because he's rich, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll skate by with all of his money. Because I believe he's like an actual baron sort of thing.
They
so
keep
he
calling him
clearly
Baron,
comes
yeah.
from money. Right, yeah. I'm looking through here my notes, and I actually didn't take a lot. Because it's not because I thought the movie was bad. I'm just going to say that. But I was just kind of enraptured by it, because I'm just like, well, I'm enjoying all of the hijinks of these kids and like tagging along by sneaking into the trunk and riding
Trunks
along
in the trunk,
to Trunks in the trunk. And you had pointed out that Toei must love dolphins, and I got thrown off because I'm like, I don't remember what you're talking about.
As someone who
Can you remind me what that was?
As someone who edits like AMVs all the time, I always come across these scenes of like the characters and dolphins whenever they fly over the ocean, either with Kintone or whatever have you. There's always a shot of like dolphins floating up to show how beautiful this scenery is or whatever. And I like it.
I was kind of hoping that just like in the beginning of the series where Goku and Chi-Chi are heading off to Master Roshi's place to get the Basho fan or whatever, where Goku just asks a dolphin for directions and the dolphin talks. I was kind of hoping that would happen here, and it didn't. I was kind of disappointed.
Oh yeah, gosh, that would have been good.
It's so weird how, as the series goes on, the animals digress back to just regular animals as opposed to this magical world where someone can talk.
Yeah, the world loses a lot of whimsy as we move into more like sci-fi.
It really does.
Just like martial arts,
so
combat, action. Yeah.
The president of the world is a dog, for Christ's sake.
Oh, we would needed to bring up that it's cool of them trying to push these character traits for these new kids, because this is our second movie with Goten and Trunks sort of headlining, where Trunks knows a lot about science and Goten is used to living out.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah, right. Self-proclaimed good at science. He listens in on his mom from time to time.
Within reason, that makes sense. Like that he would know more than the average kid his age about science.
Oh yeah, and Goten, who has lived out in the mountains amongst wildlife, is very comfortable around animals, even if they seem like they are dangerous.
Because there's that great moment where that weird dog comes up and licks Trunks' ass, and Trunks doesn't know what to do about it.
and he thinks Goten's licking his ass.
Is that what he said? I must have missed that part, but.
Yeah, Goten, stop doing that.
Yeah, and I'm just
I know that's you.
And I'm just like, he's on your shoulders. Why do you think he's there?
To me, it looked like an old guy's like beard and mustache. I didn't realize it was the
and
dog.
like bushy eyebrows.
like some old guy just came up and started licking Trunks' butt. I was like, this is danger. No. This is real danger.
Oh,
Doug
man.
started to zone out, and then it was like, whoa, he just brought back to that.
But I just loved how then like Goten comes up and like calms him down, and then Trunks points out like, oh, you're good with animals because you grew up in the mountains, you grew up with animals and shit. So that's a great character developing moment.
Mm-hmm. I think Goten should have been friends with Hiya Dragon. They should have done that.
That would have been tight. Yeah.
Not necessarily this movie, but just like, I don't know, throw that in. I know that he's filler. I know that he was movies and garlic.
All these movies are just one continuity. Like they have their own timeline.
That's true.
Altogether,
you could just throw that in there.
Though I would actually argue that I feel like out of all the movies that you want to try to fit in like the canon or whatever, I think this is the easiest one you could fit in the canon, because I think to me anyway, it clearly takes place after Boo, because like Goku's dead at this point. So
right, he's still dead. It's post tournament. Maybe Boo. Maybe Gohan did defeat the seal. Blew that up and like, all right, cool. Well, took care of that, and now we took care of Babidi and Dabra, that we don't have to worry about it, and we can just go back to our daily life.
I guess. Or maybe even after the whole Boo thing, because I mean, doesn't that just like last a week? The whole Boo saga is like 1 week.
It's like 2 days.
Yeah,
man.
Something ridiculous like that.
I can't believe that. I think this movie would have been cool if Boo was in it somehow, but it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe have Boo be a disciple of Mr. Satan, huh? That would have been cool.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't think the series was far enough along for us to get to that point here, because at least for the anime, they were just dealing with Boo, and I'm not sure how far along the manga was at the time.
Well, they shouldn't have made this movie 3 months away from the previous one.
You make a good point. I won't argue with that. So let's get to where the action kind of comes in. Well, kind of, sort of. We get taken to this battle stage that Jaga wants to have Mr. Satan defeat his Bio Warriors. Well, not
battle
wants
stage
him to defeat
ever.
But...
There's like a cone going to the middle. It's super weird. Like at first I thought they were like stadium seating, but it's not.
No, it's all just steps.
Yeah.
And they have giant fish bowls for some reason.
Yeah.
It's weird and wild.
I don't understand rich people.
Yes, I think that
Mr. Satan has a great entrance where he slips on a banana peel.
Yeah.
Classic.
So good.
We kind of have this back and forth where 18 kind of has things that she wants to do and just wants the money. Like, I will fight these Bio Warriors for you, but you got to pay me more.
Another 20 million zenny, baby.
Yep. And I just love this back and forth of Mr. Satan going from smug and is the champion to I'm way in over my head and just like shitting his pants before 18 and like, I'll take care of it. Like, oh yeah, this is my pupil and she's going to take care of it because she's the best because I taught her.
I was starting to feel bad near the end as she kept like adding 20 more, 20 million more, 20 million more. But I'm like, no, fuck Mr. Satan. He's the guy that took the credit for Gohan and everyone defeating Cell. So nah.
The world couldn't handle the truth. That's fine. Also, they almost do a tournament and 18 just goes, fuck that shit. I gotta get home, dude.
I love that moment. They just like make fun of this series and like they show the tournament. They actually show like the tournament board and the lineups. 18 just like, fuck that. And just blasts it.
Battle Royale, let me just take care of all of them.
Everyone watching the movie like gave like a big relief sigh of like, oh, thank God. We don't have to go through that.
We just got out of a tournament arc, thank God. 18 comes to save the day. So then it does devolve into sort of a battle royale. It's her and Goten and Trunks that they've entered the fight and just a nice quick little bout between them and taking out all these weird, gross, scary bio warriors
We get that
with their bulging eyes.
We get that iconic Trunks and Goten pose that's in every promotional media everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? You know
Has
the
been-
one.
Yep, has them side by side, arms raised, like to their sides,
With-
been redrawn.
with great entrance music.
Oh, yeah. No, Kikuchi is knocking it out of the park. I believe there's a lot of new Boo arc music that's kind of introduced here
Yeah.
or starts being used and wasn't in previous movies. And man, there's a whole bunch of good tracks in here. I am impressed. Not that I'm ever not impressed.
Yeah, that guy always slays. But we forgot the most important character that makes a return in this movie.
Oh!
I don't even know his freaking name. But like the prayer giver? What are they called?
Prayer Giver, I believe, is just what they call him.
Why is he alive? Why does he exist in this series?
He's got some background when they decide after the Bio Warriors are defeated, like, now we're going to do our trump card. And, oh no, it's a tube of a Broly that's here. But there's
Yeah.
the prayer giver who talks about, oh yeah, I got this isn't the original Broly. You defeated him. So I went and I found his pod and got some dried blood so that I could sell this. But one, I don't think that dude even knows that Broly happened. Like, it was just a
doesn't.
dinosaur that was their problem.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
all it was to him.
none of them are around for that. So how does he even know? Was he like off to the side actually watching the fight that was going on?
He just walks up to this like damaged. He doesn't know what a space pod is, so it's like this weird fucking ball that has 7-year-old blood sitting there because that blood is from movie 8, from when Broly's killed back in the first movie. So, I don't. It's so weird. But like it's so weird because when I see him, I'll look like an endorphin in my brain goes, "Whoa, he was in the last movie. That's cool. They brought him over." But then you realize he serves like no purpose and has no function other than to have that blood sample or whatever. And I don't know.
We needed a way to justify this movie.
There was
Right. And he is the link between the two movies, which is why in the Philippines, this and movie 10 were just Dragon Ball Z, the movie. He was the
Just
one
one
guy
big
that brought
movie.
the two together. There's also another sort of like thing, like, I don't mean to CinemaSins, a movie for children that was just there to make money.
Yeah.
But Trunks sees a man with a tail in a tube. He's like, someone with a tail? Is that a Saiyan? And it's like, well, I know that you are one, but you have never in your life met a single one with a tail before.
And
so how do you even
There's no
make
there's
that
no comic
connection?
book out there that like, with Saiyans on it. Like, these are Saiyans. Like, they have tails. Like,
Right.
that doesn't exist. Goku and Vegeta don't have access to that kind of stuff unless they had spoken to them about it, which I highly doubt they did.
Yeah, Vegeta,
Right.
Vegeta had to taught Trunks like the birds and the bees at some point. Like, listen, Trunks, at some point in your life, you're gonna get a tail.
You're gonna get a tail. It might be purple. We don't know yet. We gotta wait and find out.
You might start to notice hair in places there wasn't before.
Your body's going to go through some changes, and yes, I am talking about growing that tail out of your butt. Now, let's talk about safe fighting. It's very important.
Which that tail thing would have been a great if we didn't know that Broly was the antagonist of this movie. That was an awesome like opening cut into the title screen. Was just a tail.
Well, to be fair, his name is not in the title in the Japanese version, so
Yeah.
I don't know if the marketing, they didn't mention it. I can't imagine they wouldn't just be plastering that all the time, like, Broly's back, everybody! Holy shit, Broly! You love Broly! Come see the Broly movie! You love
100%.
Broly!
Yeah, you just pick up the latest issue of Jump back then. And it's just like, hey, Broly's in here. Go see it.
yeah.
You gotta go! Tell your parents they're taking you.
Broly's bio now? What does this mean? Check it out.
Yeah. It's biotechnology. You'll find out. We'll teach you some science. It'll be great. Your parents will love it.
Trunks will tell you.
Yeah. He's a teacher now. So in him getting awakened and released, we started spilling all of this, what do they call it? Culture
Fluid, yeah.
that starts to melt all this biomatter, including like, poor Jaga's dog, which is horrifying.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, wasn't a fan of that.
He had resting bitch face, but he didn't deserve to die.
Right, exactly. Like, oh man, we are showing that it can be rough, and then we have it kind of like going everywhere as the fight continues and people like trying to get away from it. We have a bunch of scientists in an elevator, and then it stops, the door opens, and it just floods in. And it's like, oh god, this is brutal.
It was
That was terrifying.
Too brutal for Dragon Ball. Like I know they didn't show them getting melted, but you see what's going to happen to them, and you see that no one's going to save them. It's just that's just so dark.
You just see them sink further and further into the elevator. And it's just like, oh no.
No.
They're trying to one-up that one shot of the guy getting his life sucked out by Cell when he first debuts. He's holding like the stack of money and his skin just starts to sag and his bones cracking and like,
they almost succeeded. They didn't go all the way, but they almost succeeded.
They didn't show it, but they definitely show you enough to have it go in your head of like, that would be a horrifying situation.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how you go.
The fact that we had that feeling in our stomachs, like from not even seeing it. Yeah, they did a good job with portraying that.
Exactly. So this fluid is purple. So why is Broly poop brown? I just gotta know who decided that color scheme.
I'm telling you, man, someone just had a vision and that they had to see it through.
I blame Tadayoshi Yamamuro. He is at the top of his game, but he's like, but what if Broly was a poop monster, though?
Hear me out. He gets covered in it, and his everything survives except for his hair. I mean, no, nothing survives except his hair.
What if Broly just got done bathing in a swamp?
Ooh, yeah. And every step he takes, he leaves behind a little treat for people. You know,
he leaves mud behind for his housemates to clean up.
Yeah, exactly. It's how he shows that he cares.
It's like in 30 years, there's going to be something called the Monster Extended Universe that they're going to try and make, and the Swamp Thing is going to come back. It's going to be huge.
This is actually the first one. They tried a long time ago in Japan with Dragon Ball. It was a weird crossover. So we've got this fight going on, which I think this movie looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Art-wise, animation-wise, it all looks pretty good. I'm a fan.
There's a good amount of like fight scenes that are like, wow, that looks really good.
We've got a couple of like D-Power transformations of like Trunks and Goten getting knocked out, and like, I don't know, I'm always a sucker for that, of just watching their hair just limp back to normal state and stuff and change color.
There's one where it just popped out though. That was super quick and
yeah, that was weird. I always like the sound that that like de-transformation makes that I definitely can't like.
It's like a whistly noise, I guess, is what I'm kind of.
But
thinking.
It is an awesome sound, yeah.
It's always oddly satisfying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, their Foley person knew what they were doing there. Just good job.
Mm-hmm.
So Trunks, being the science boy, puts two and two together of watching all of these humans being dissolved. He sees Baron Jaga and his dude like.
I think after seeing one person get destroyed by it, I would get it, but. He watches like 10 different people get destroyed by these things and like 10 different shots of the movie. And like, oh, I got it.
And he doesn't even go save them. He's like, oh, I got it.
Yeah, I thought I was going to go save them. I thought that was a dilemma. That's why he was taking so long to look while he's looking at them. Like, oh, I should care about humans and go save them. But no, he just watches them all get killed.
I think that's another cool little difference in like characterization between Goten and Trunks is where, you know, there are points in this movie where like they're both attacking Broly, but then Goten will go off to like save whoever, and unfortunately leaves Trunks to have to fight Broly alone. But like I think that shows that like, you know, Goten genuinely like, you know, he has a good heart. Like he wants to save people.
I love those moments. Those moments were so great.
We were watching and like they were very in sync. They're doing a Kamehameha together. They're side by side and like blasting Broly before then. Yeah, Goten has to like, I could believe, go save Mr. Satan, and then Trunks starts losing. And Doug, you're like, wow, they work really well together. It's almost like they should work on that some more. You know, working in tandem.
A little bit of foreshadowing that nobody knows about yet.
And it's very, very good. I mean, I'm not sure if it was an intentional thing, but like, hey, yeah, I mean, these kids work well together.
Toriyama got the idea of fusion from this movie specifically.
Again, I don't know how far the manga was. It was probably far enough to have introduced fusion.
And we know Toriyama doesn't watch these movies, so
that's true. He barely watched the Bardock special and was like, "That was fucking sick." So then Trunks gets Broly all wet with his goop, and I meant to phrase it that way, and that is what defeats.
Yeah, I see it in the doc
Broly.
right now. It's Randy says disgusting thing.
Trunks gets his goop all over Broly, and Broly dissolves. That's how it works. That's science. And the day is saved.
I don't know about that either,
is
man.
it? I gotta try and say something. I gotta try and be funny. I'm sorry. There's two of you to gang up on me now. This isn't fair.
Perfect.
Now we can gang up on Randy and take over the podcast.
Yes, let's do it, Colton.
You tried the same shit on my show. Now I'm gonna get you back.
Oh no!
So long. Sayonara.
Oh, God, I broke free. I'm here. It's fine. I'm in charge. I've assumed control.
He defeated us.
Man,
Super Warriors have been
next time.
defeated.
I'm the one who will win.
I was trying to think the entire time of like one of the classic DBZ titles for the movies, but I couldn't think of one. They're all so generic.
Look, if I can't defeat you, who will?
There you go. That's the one. That's 13. That one's the
Yep.
for some reason stands out.
Exactly. So they think everything is all hunky-dory, but oops, nope, the goop is still going everywhere, and they've got to try and take care of that. Oh, yeah, I guess Krillin also showed up at some point.
Yeah, he changed clothes, by the way. He had a vest on in the beginning of the movie, and this is the same day he went home, dropped off Marin, and then put on his red shirt, brown pants on that he wears in the series, which makes me think that they animated this second part of the movie first, and then went back and did the
Just
intro.
used his default look.
Yeah, because they didn't know what to draw him. Yeah.
I have a different theory, and that is that we last saw Krillin needing to take care of Marin, who had to go to the bathroom, so he takes him into Satan's house, but I think she couldn't hold it long enough, peed on him, and he's like, well, now I gotta go put on my backup clothes in the trunk of the car.
You know, that holds some
actually,
weight.
that makes sense.
I mean, because Marin specifically does, they had that scene where she's like, I need to go to the bathroom, which makes sense, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm sorry. I just love how, Krillin just, takes his daughter into, just some guy's house that he probably barely knows.
Yeah.
and then his daughter just pisses all over the floor.
Right. You think there's got to be a butler or something that's like, who are you and why are you in this house? I've never seen you before.
And he's just like, hey, can you watch my daughter for me? I gotta go catch up with my wife.
Yeah,
I gotta go save the world. Hold on.
Well, when Satan has his house looking like a theme park with his name plastered everywhere, Satan House, it just feels like a theme park and not a real house.
I want to call my place Satan House, and it'll be super cool.
No one will get the joke, and it's just this is weird.
I mean,
no,
the way 18 was treating him earlier, might as well just be called the National Bank of Satan,
Yeah.
which I guarantee probably does exist, because aren't they in Satan City?
They are in Satan City,
I'm sure
so they have to name a whole bunch of stuff like Satan National Park. You know that they did it.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So the goop is going everywhere.
Oh, and there's this one character that there's literally a very well-endowed, beautiful scientist woman that they introduced solely for this part of the movie where Krillin has to save her, and gets flustered and blushed, so 18 gets jealous and pushes them off the cliff or whatever, the building. The only reason why they drew her so sexy and for her to exist was for that one joke.
Was that the same woman that Trunks was talking to about biotechnology and genetic engineering?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I missed that part. I don't know what I was doing where I didn't see that whole exchange happen.
You were
with
looking
Krillin,
at her
of
breasts
course.
because they were so out there.
It's very telling of what my priorities were at the time versus what Doug's priorities were at the time.
I mean, the movie's this is woman, this is sexy woman, look at her. It's, yeah.
That's true. They were trying to sell the sex appeal.
We gotta give him something until we get to Broly.
Exactly. I've already gotten my naked Broly in a tube. I guess we gotta give stuff to other people. I got mine. Mr. Satan cleverly, I mean, he's trying to escape. He gets into the ocean.
Luckily.
And starts splashing away, trying to get away from the incoming goop before, it's frozen. Oh, cool. The water stops it. Oh, no, there's more. He just has to paddle away. I don't know. It gave me a good chuckle.
And then it's not Trunks the scientist who comes up with it. It's Goten the water stops this thing. Let's use that.
Goten, of all people.
Yeah,
really?
I know. It's so weird.
That no point 18 wasn't it's the goop. Oh, it's water.
Yeah. These are simple concepts, but still, they kind of set it up for Trunks to be the one figuring all this stuff out. But
right.
they just give it to Goten, making Trunks's, a lesser character development, but whatever.
Well, I mean, this way they both have a thing where they're like, we both figured something out.
Well,
so now it's fair.
I was hoping that the movie introduced Goten being good with the animals in the beginning for it to pay off in the ending. Trunks would be the one that would be figuring that stuff out scientifically or whatever, mechanically with the computers, and then Goten would be distracting Broly with animals. Goten would summon animals like he's some kind of superhero and just distract him, hold him back.
Look at you, Doug, expecting narrative through lines in a Dragon Ball Z movie.
I just want a little more.
Look, they did half the job. They introduced the hooks. They just needed to put the other half there. That's not that too much to ask.
I mean, look, I myself, I appreciate that once again, Satan saves the day.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's always a running thing, which I love to see, and I'm glad that it continues in the movies as well.
But how do they use the water? They blast at it?
They just blast a big wave to make a bigger wave.
I hate that so much.
But it's Goten, Trunks, and Krillin. How often does that team up happen?
That is pretty cool, actually, yeah.
It is awesome, yeah.
It would have been really funny if they accidentally destroyed the island, though.
I was going to say, just like how Goku does to Ox King's, castle or whatever in the beginning of Dragon Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he thinks, I'll use my beam to put out the flames. Oh, wait, I destroyed it. Sorry. That's what this feels like, but it doesn't.
That was Roshi, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. But also, this is the same concept, but it takes itself too seriously and doesn't make a joke out of it.
Right.
Well, still, the important thing is that Ox King is now homeless.
Yeah, that's the real takeaway we've got to take from here. And then also here, Jaga is homeless, if not consumed by goop, and now dead.
I think he was saved. Yeah, but
no, yeah, Trunks saved both him and Men, his cousin or whatever. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Was that his cousin?
I also missed that part.
Probably was his cousin.
Yeah, they keep saying that he's his cousin or whatever, and I'm just like, cool, I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
Useless family, whatever.
It would have been fine if he was just his henchman or something, but
that's what I thought.
It doesn't really matter.
That's all it needed, really.
Yeah.
We have the movie capped off with one scene of Goku up in heaven eating some food and brings up oh man, I have to go stop Broly from running amok here in hell, but it turns out he's causing trouble down on Earth. That's wild. And it's show me that.
I know.
Show me that one-on-one fight. During the credits, we've got, Goten and Trunks as kids, and then some shots of the Budokai and stuff. No, just have the credits rolling as you're showing Goku and Broly fighting in hell. That would be rad.
And it wouldn't be Bio Broly. He's probably talking about the Broly from
exactly
that they just defeated.
I at least want to see a scene with Broly just causing trouble at the line into the afterlife, and King Emma has to try to stop him or something.
Yeah. Broly's not at full power. He's confined by the rules of the afterlife. So he's he can't really do much. So it's just comedy. But yeah, something like that would have been great.
Right.
I don't. Maybe it's just that the mystery of it is more enticing. If Toei did give us that ending, it would have been really dissatisfying. Maybe. So maybe it's better off if they didn't show it to us.
I just think having just a little tidbit of something thrown in during the credits, I don't know, just have them trading blows. We don't have to see the whole fight.
Yeah.
But just Broly fighting and Goku just smiling and yes, I get to fight this guy again. This is great
or something. Yeah. But I think this this movie's really ballsy for saving Goku until the last couple seconds of the movie. I can only imagine being somebody watching this in Japan when it first premiered, and honestly, probably being kind of angry, what? Goku didn't even show up until the end. Worst movie ever.
Right, exactly.
They're probably testing the waters still to see if the show could hold its own without Goku. But this proved that it really can't.
Yeah, because after this, just the manga and stuff, Goku and Vegeta come back and they're the center of focus from here on out.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's cover what we thought. What did we like about this movie? Colton, what did you enjoy about your viewing?
I actually think there's a lot to like about this movie. And I'm sure we'll probably get into it in a bit, but I used to feel I would hear people really dunk on this movie, but honestly, it's probably my favorite Broly movie out of the three. I mean, I haven't seen the last two in a while. And from what I remember, the first Broly movie, I think, is fine. And from listening to you to talk about Second Coming, I think there are one or two moments in that movie I like, but overall, I don't remember really caring about it too much. Maybe as a kid, I would have been "Oh, Broly comes back! Oh, I gotta watch this shit." But I think that's the reason I initially bought this movie, literally all the way back in 2005 or whatever. When I was a kid, was oh, Broly comes back a third time. Oh, I got to see this shit. But I mean, rewatching it now, I mean, I I think I like the choice of which characters this movie uses. I really like the combination of like Goten, Trunks, Mr. Satan, 18, and Krillin. Especially since like when I was a kid, for some reason I was like expecting Gohan to come in like in Second Coming, and obviously he doesn't like show up at all. Which I guess is a good thing because they would have just been repeating Second Coming, which would have kind of sucked. But I just like the choice of characters that they use for this movie because it's like they literally use characters that like we don't really get to see like a whole lot, you know, especially not like working with each other. It's just a really like interesting cast of characters for this movie in particular. Very rarely do I watch like these old movies and really be like, oh yeah, like this is like an interesting cast of characters that isn't like normally used, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it was totally ballsy. Like you said, like I love that these cast of characters are the main focus. Even though I don't think it really works, I still enjoy that this does exist in this capacity.
That's fair.
Just to see like 18, and it feels like someone always needs to babysit Goten and Trunks. So there's always either Videl or there's 18, and it's just chaos from there.
Would you have preferred if it was just the two of them on their own and they didn't have adult supervision? Or do you just not think that they can carry a movie on their own?
I don't know, depending on where the story went, because I think that might have changed the story a little bit, where if Goten and Trunks were on their own, they'd have to think of a more clever way to defeat the enemy. So it all depends.
I don't think I would have liked a movie with just the two of them. Like that's another thing I really like about this movie is that like this movie is building upon stuff from like the original series. Whereas I feel like a lot of the older movies before this point, I guess before Broly, really are just like rehashes of stuff that's already happened in the series, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, like I like the idea of like 18 being like, okay, I'm gonna go and get the money that Mr. Satan owes me. Like that's cool because we don't get to see like follow through on that in the original series. So I like
you know what happened. So it is cool that they continue that. And I agree. Like I think that this movie feels so non-Dragon Ball because of they're not rehashing an old storyline and just putting a new enemy in this. Even though it is Broly, it feels like a disservice to call this a Broly movie because you see two scenes of what you know is Broly, and then it's just this blob afterwards, and it's just disappointing.
Yeah. Like honestly, I was thinking like if you tweak this movie just a little bit, like I don't think this needed to be a Broly movie. I think you could have easily put in like another bad guy or like a new bad guy, and I think it would have still worked the same.
Yeah, 100%. Like
I mean, we had brought up when we were watching movie 9 that BoJack, there's literally no information given about like really who he is and what he wants other than I'm bad and I'm here to do bad things.
He's big and blue.
And
it works.
I was totally on board. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. He's not trying to do anything more, but having it be, oh, this is Broly, like, okay, well now there's an expectation of what you're going to do here.
Exactly.
And instead now he's just a goop monster. If it was just that from the start, or like they bring out this monster and they're like, oh, okay, well it's just going to be another bio warrior, and then if they're like, oh yeah, and we found some DNA to base him on and it's Broly, and they're just like, oh shit, so this monster has the same strength as him versus it is Broly, you know?
Right.
If they were just like, yeah, I mean, you don't have to give it so much air of this is a character that you, I don't know and love or are interested in seeing them being back. I don't know.
It feels like a staple of Broly now is seeing him go from like a slim body to that big bulky body, and this Bio Broly didn't do that at all. So it just didn't feel like Broly at all.
Overall, what didn't we like? I know that we kind of, touched on it here and there, but if you had to say like what thing in this just kind of really ruined it for you, what would it be?
I don't like that 18 didn't have a new set of clothing. She just had the same clothes she wore the day before at the tournament. They gave Krillin new clothes.
Person. Yeah. Nobody else gets a cool new outfit. They should have cool new outfits.
Actively dislike about this movie? I mean, I guess it just goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, I don't think this needed to be a Broly movie. And I guess the other angle I was kind of thinking was like, what would have, like, I feel like if I were an adult following these movies at the time of release, I probably would have gotten kind of tired of Broly at this point. Like, I really wonder what Japanese people at this time how they felt about Broly. Like I'm sure there were a lot of people who liked the character probably, but I have to imagine there were some people by this point who were like, what, a third Broly? Come on, come up with something else, you know? Like I was kind of thinking what would have happened if like, or how some people would feel about this movie if like maybe you just do away with Second Coming entirely and maybe just make this the Broly sequel. Like maybe it would have been a disappointing return to form.
I would have liked that.
For the character, because Broly doesn't really have any has even less personality in this movie than he does in the other two, you know. But like it still wouldn't have been this thing where it's like, oh, we gotta have like all this Broly or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, you know that they didn't like make this movie in 3 months, so they planned to have 2 Broly movies back to back so quickly. They didn't think about, let's see if Broly does well again. No, they're just like, no, we know he is. Let's just make another Broly movie after that. Maybe they made this movie not thinking it was going to be Broly. They just made a blob monster. Maybe. It was like, oh, Broly's doing really well. Let's just throw some scenes at the beginning of it and explain that it's actually Broly in there.
Mm-hmm. No, we already know all the 12-year-olds are gonna like Broly no matter what. So let's just make 2. It's fine.
Yeah,
man, I don't know. I guess I mean.
Well, then I have this question for you.
Yeah.
This movie seems to get a lot of hate. You know, it's just like, oh man, the movies are pretty fun, except for that Bio Broly one. Ugh. Like, do you think out of all of the ones that you've watched, that after seeing this again and having it be more fresh in your mind, that you would rank it at the bottom, like the worst one you've seen?
Well, Colton, you said you don't think it's the worst one, but I think it, after me watching all 3, yeah, I think it is. Because like,
out of the Broly movies or out of all the movies?
Out of the Broly ones.
Out of all of the movies.
Out
is
of
what I
all
was
of them.
thinking. Out of all of them, this movie just gets a lot of hate of like all of the movies are okay except for the Bio Broly one. It's like, I think Bio Broly and Lord Slug are trash. But like,
I think Return of Cooler really hit me hard because I had it in such high regards. And then to watch it again and just be so disappointed with everything about that movie.
No, yeah, I haven't rewatched all of the movies. I've mostly been kind of living vicariously through the podcast here, but I'm pretty confident that like when I get around to like finally rewatching all of them, eventually, especially for my show, the Meta Cooler movie is probably going to be my least favorite movie. I at least like this movie way more than that one, personally. That's just me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree. I don't think it deserves as much of the venom that people give it. So I'm glad that everybody else is kind of on that same wavelength. Like, it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
It gets a lot of points from us just from it not having Goku and just for it having this strange cast that we're not used to.
For trying new things, you know, it definitely gets an A for effort.
Compared to the like all the other like 12 original movies that come out around this time, like comparatively, this movie like tries to take risks, and like I at least appreciate it for that. Like, you know, if people don't like this movie, I could see why. Like it's not like the most amazing thing ever or whatever, but like I appreciate it for trying new stuff at the very least.
And like you said, a lot of the movies before this are just kind of rehashes of older enemies.
Yeah.
So this is legitimately Toei just having a good intro. Like, okay, let's get 18 to go to Satan, and then after that we got to come up with our own story. And like they're not Toriyama, so this is the best that they can come up with. So it's not, you know, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, gotta love having some originality and just not rehashing a previous arc or a previous enemy, and let's just try and do something new on our own within the limited scope that we have here with what we have to work with. I need to take a break, and I think it'd be fair to let you guys have a break too, but then we're going to come back and we're going to hear what everybody else had to say. Sound fun?
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll be right back. And we're back. We're here this time to hear what you guys all had to say. So, I'm going to read these things off, and then I want you guys to tell me your thoughts in conjunction with them. So, first up, we had John Rogers at MagicBox67, who said, not as great as its immediate predecessor, but the B-Team cast, unique setting, a laboratory devoted to corporate science, and great music still make this one a real winner. The climax with Goten, Trunks, and Krillin firing their blasts into the water still gives me goosebumps.
Again, I haven't rewatched the other 2 Broly movies in a bit, but I would disagree and say that like this is probably better than Second Coming at the very least.
I think it's a hot take. I don't know. I don't think I feel the same way about that. Second Coming had its moments where like the plot really sucked, but I don't think it sucked as bad as like as soon as in this movie when Jaga opens up his lab, I'm like, what am I looking at? What is this? And you just see two scientists. I'm like, I guess this is a lab. It's really weird.
It's definitely a wild layout because it's like they're in a courtyard or then they're in the battle stage and then the walls come away and it's like, oh, there's actually a lab around here.
Yeah, it looks like that chapter in the Final Fantasy VII remake where they're trying to turn on the lights and like all the platforms are broken up and you gotta like go this way to go that way and all that.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just very easy to please and like the fact that we have 18 and Satan and Krillin in the same movie just makes this movie much more enjoyable than the other two for me. But that's just
telling you, man, I agree that gives it a lot of points. Like that gives it a lot of points to me.
Oh yeah. Skefferton Licorice at Living Zombie 00 says, it'll be interesting to hear how you do an episode on a movie that doesn't exist. Bio Broly was just a fever dream we all collectively had due to the Broly oversaturation at the time, remember?
Man.
So I gotta turn off the recording, I gotta delete everything.
Yeah,
this is
never
done,
happened.
we're done.
Sorry,
we're not
Colton,
talking
this
about
unofficial guest, because now it's no movie.
You were on the Ghost episode that never happened.
Oh no, does that mean I don't exist? Oh no!
No!
He popped. He's gone.
That was a good
He
pop.
got snapped. Like I said, I don't think this movie deserves the kind of hate where we're all like, that movie didn't happen. I mean, obviously you can have your own opinion. If you didn't like it, that's cool. But I would think, like, looking back on it, it doesn't deserve the hate. It's good. It's fine.
This movie is like the closest we've ever gotten to it being running coherently with the anime at the time, isn't it? Like, I feel like it's right.
Well, we had movie 9, which was like literally just as the Cell games are coming to an end. That it's like, all right, cool. Well, here's what happened after that. And then here it's, okay, well, the tournament's over, and here's what's happening after that, and like the shakedown to get the money. So, like, a couple of these have really great timing for when they take place in the series and where the series was.
Yeah, but with only 3 months of time before the previous one, that doesn't make this a better movie, but you just got to give the people props for, trying.
Yeah.
Nate Ming says, I honestly think this movie gets way more hate than it deserves. I agree. Headlining a movie with Goten, Trunks, Krillin, 18, and Mr. Satan was great and made for a real desperate running fight. Its only real sin is including Broly again, but he does make for a great unstoppable villain. I mean, the name does carry the weight of like, oh no, we're going to be in for a tough fight because the last 2 times have been real rough, but we don't have Gohan or anything here. We're on our own.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is kind of like this desperate fight, even though it's mostly kid hijinks of Goten and Trunks. I don't know.
Yeah,
kind of clowning on him.
I just hate the ending of like the whole water blast defeating him. I was telling you like during the movie, I wish they had incorporated the bio culture fluid in a better way. Whereas in the very beginning, they're fighting Broly without the bio stuff. Like he just maybe has like a tint of green, but he looks like the Broly we know. And just as the movie progresses, the bio fluid is like infecting him more and more and making him weaker and like kind of like draining him and making him look into that blob monster that we eventually get to. Because the blob monster looked really cool in those scenes where he was being engulfed by the goop. Remember that scene? Like it like was shot really well.
Oh yeah,
it looks like a horror movie. Like that would have been cool if we just had that bio Broly for like 1 or 2 scenes, not the entire movie. If Broly had just devolved into that, and then it would have made him weaker enough for these weaker characters to beat him. You know what I mean?
Well, if you're looking for a desperate fight with somebody who's very strong and then it devolves into a goop monster as they slowly get more and more corrupted, Doug, I have an arc of Dragon Ball Super for you to watch.
Oh, I thought you said my love life.
Oh, man. First off, hey, Nate. If you're listening, but also,
he wrote in, he's gotta listen, that's the
law. But also, I do kind of agree with him on the whole, like, because I was talking earlier about how, like, yeah, like, I still feel like you could have, like, swapped out Broly for literally anybody else, but at the same time, Broly still at least carries this expectation of, like, oh, this is a bad guy that, like, they always have a hard time fighting. So, like, it does kind of give the movie at least some stakes a little bit, because you kind of know what to expect.
True.
So
that's true, because as soon as we see, like, 18 go for him, we know, like, we're in the same boat as Goten and Trunks. We know she's not strong enough to fight this enemy.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, as much as I would have liked a movie without Broly, I do admit that, like, he still has his like he still has his role to play, and he still plays it well enough. But I mean, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I also do like that the characters have to use some form of strategy in this movie. As simple as it is, I do like that they don't just have to like punch Broly again for the third time. Like I like that Trunks uses like their surroundings as a way to like to defeat him. That's, again, it's a simple solution, but like it's still somewhat refreshing.
What was
they should have had the fight at nighttime, so they're like, well, we could shoot him into the sun. Oh man, there's no sun. Crap.
Shoot him into the sun again.
And I'm sorry I stomped all over you, Doug. What were you going to say?
No, I was just like about like, oh, it's a better plot line than just punch him harder. I always think back to that segment in Naruto Shippuden where like I think it was Shikamaru was like, we just have to fight better than we did yesterday. Just fight better, and then that they win by encouraging themselves to fight better. And the tagline is "Fight better than we did yesterday." It's like that's it. That's how you beat the enemies.
It's shonen spirit, man. You can defeat anything. Yeah, just push a little harder than you did yesterday. You'll be fine. Lum Ranma Yasha says, hot take right up front here. I honestly think it's the best of the Broly trilogy.
Wow.
It's the only film where Goten and Trunks get to headline without Goku or Gohan taking the spotlight away from them, and it has fun stuff and good contributions from 18, Krillin, and Satan, and a good creepy horror monster take on Broly.
You know what? Honestly, I agree with Lum Ramayasha's take, and not just because they're my co-host on Manga Mavericks. I mean, I pretty much agree with everything they said, and I didn't really even think about like the horror monster angle on Broly. Like, I think that's a cool idea, and I think I think there are like shades of that in this movie. I wonder if maybe they could have played that up a bit more. I'm not sure.
I wish they had.
I agree. Yeah. If they're gonna have him be a gross monster, like you'd brought up that really great shot of like when he is kind of getting melted, it is very much like a body horror thing. If they could have really pushed that, and instead of it just being, oh, he's just unstoppable, that's it. Be like, oh man, if he's kind of fucked up though, right? Like, what if we made that worse?
Yeah. I mean, they like like we mentioned, there are still moments like all the scientists in the elevator, which that was a good idea, by the way. But there are moments like that, and that's what I'm saying, right? Like I do like the idea of that angle, but I do kind of wish maybe we got like a bit more of that. Like if they leaned into that just a little bit more, I think that would have made this movie better. Honestly,
I feel like the person whoever decided that shot of Broly being melted and the elevator scene, I'm sure it's the same person that thought of those ideas, because those are spot on. Those hit the mark on how you were supposed to feel.
Yeah.
And I just wish maybe he did more in that movie, plot-wise.
I am going to guess that this movie was written by Takao Koyama as the guy who does all of them, and let's check and see. Yes, it is. So,
but he does all the what do they call it? I forget, but like the pictures, like the storyboards. Does he?
Oh well, he's the script writer.
Yeah, but I mean, like the storyboard specifically for the elevator scene and for when Broly is being melted are just so perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll agree. I think that was, directing wise, if you're gonna, that I think would be more in charge of that. Not actually drawing the storyboards, but definitely directing of like, okay, yeah, that's what I want. Let's change this out. Yeah. Yoshihiro Ueda, who of course does a really great job.
Well, he was having a good day whenever he thought up those ideas because they were great.
Heck yeah. And finally, we have Jake Pay at JakePay16, who says, I only liked the comedy in this, having Mr. Satan and 18 have the conversation continue from the tournament. Then Trunks and Goten being along always has some good laughs, but that Kamehameha at the end is pretty spicy. It's always good to see just the normal humans helping more often.
Yeah. I pretty much agree.
Yeah, it's nice having Krillin come and do something instead of just being like, oh man, I jumped into the fight and I got knocked out immediately. Oh, that always happens to me.
I was going to say, points to Krillin for trying the Kienzan even though it didn't work.
Oh yeah, he totally, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He always used it on enemies that it would work if they were regular enemies, but they're not.
Right.
He tried.
He tried. You know what? Good on him. At least he showed up, unlike some people.
Yamcha.
Cough Yamcha. I know that I said we love Yamcha here, but like...
Man, Randy, I was going to say the same thing if you weren't, honestly.
And I know that you also love Yamcha,
I do.
so it's
He's too busy playing baseball
we love him.
Can't...
Exactly. We love him enough to point it out when he does not show up for what he should be
we
there
just we
for.
just want
So,
Yamcha to do better. That because we love him.
We want a better life for him.
we want him to fight better than he did yesterday.
No, never that. But I'm still mad that Trunks has the Kamehameha at his disposal to use. I know it's one of the most basic beams they say in the series that you can use.
I like it, but it does feel wrong, and I don't know why.
I think the anime has just diluted us from feeling like, oh, everyone knows everyone's moves. But like we were talking during the movie, Randy, that like the first time Gohan uses the Kamehameha was against Cell because he had learned it with his father in the time capsule, and that's insinuated. It's never said Gohan's ever like, oh, I learned this from my father while I was in there. No, it's just like, if you think about it, like, oh, this is the first time he's using it because that's when he learned it, and yeah, it makes that moment so special.
Yeah, it's just
And
thinking about it, of just like, when did that happen?
And how
oh yeah,
Future
that
Trunks
is cool.
and Gohan in movie 8 use the Masenko together is like, that's awesome because it has so much meaning behind it. Of course, Future Trunks only knows Masenko because he was taught by Gohan, which was taught by Piccolo. Like, it just makes so much more sense. It's great.
I mean, these two kids have been best friends for their entire lives. I'm sure that they've shared each other's techniques back and forth with each other.
No, because I think the first time
Right.
Goten uses the Kamehameha, or how he says Kamehameha, was against Trunks in the World Tournament.
Right.
And then this takes place like the day after, if
true.
not the same day. So that's why I wanted that scene
Yeah.
in the beginning where, baby Trunks is like asking him, hey, can you teach me that? And then Goten's like, yeah, it's really easy, just do this. And then he learns it. To then come into the ending,
Yeah.
it wraps everything
That would've
around,
been cool.
man. I don't know.
I kind of get it, but at the same time, like, this is also the same franchise where, like, sometimes characters can just read people's minds.
Yeah. Just have Goku tap your head like, oh yeah, I gotcha. I know how you feel now.
Yep. Well, it's time for Doug's favorite
no.
moment, which
Oh,
is
no.
trivia time.
All right.
And I've never done this. This is our first time with a guest host. So I think what we should do is I'll read the question, and then you both have to yell it out when you think you have the answer.
we don't
whoever
buzz
gets
in
it in
or-
first. Fine. If you want to make a boom or a buzz, if you want to make a noise, there you go. Just scream the word buzz. That's also fine. And then I will say, all right, Doug.
All right, let's
What
do
do
it.
you think?
All right.
One sec.
Prepared to lose.
One sec.
Me too.
My bedroom air conditioner is on a timer, and it just came on. So I gotta take care of that.
It's
All right.
like, you're still on the podcast, Randy? Like, it's talking to you.
Yeah. Shut up. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Randy, read the room.
Sorry. Yeah,
Is your
I know,
husband
it's warm.
turning it on from the other room?
No, it's on a timer, so that way it's nice
yeah,
and
sure.
cool by the time we come to bed. All right.
All right.
Question number 1. This is the first movie after Gohan was born in which he does not appear. What is the only other movie where Gohan exists but does not appear?
Oh.
I've literally tried to think through all the
Me
movies.
too.
This is the worst.
I've gone too far. I'm at 13 now. I'm like, nope, he's there.
Let's see who buzzes first.
Oh, so much pressure.
Do do do.
No, he's there in that one. He's there in that one.
Oh man.
What?
Oh come on. I should know this.
I'm going back. Okay.
Are we talking all movies?
Yeah,
or
all
just
movies.
the original
All
13?
movies where he exists and is born.
Oh, Buzz.
All right, cool, Doug.
Oh,
what?
okay.
Super Broly.
That's right. You got it.
I was like not thinking about the last 3 movies either.
Wait, which one?
The newest movie.
Super Broly.
Oh, yeah, okay. Duh, okay.
I went from like movie like 7, like okay, he's in there. Then 8, 9, 10. Wait, I'm at 13 already. No, wait, go back. 1, 2, 3.
I was gonna say it can't be tough. I said this is the first one. What's the next one? So obviously
I didn't hear
the
that. I
after
just-
this,
Damn
the
it.
pressure was there. I'm sorry. I put too much pressure on you guys, and it's rough. I know.
Well, I was look. You guys have been revisiting these movies. I haven't, so I have to like dig deep
why
into the recesses of my brain.
I felt more pressure. I'm like, I don't know yet. I just literally saw it. I feel like I've seen Gohan everywhere so far.
Well, you can do better with the next one. So, question
okay.
number 2. Here we go. One of our heroes in this movie was animated with the wrong color aura. Who was it, and what color was it, or what color should it be?
In this movie?
In this movie.
In this movie, oh man,
Can you repeat that question?
Sure. One of our heroes in this movie was animated with the wrong color aura. Who was it? And what color was it, or what color should it be?
What?
I don't remember this at all.
I feel like that would have stood out to me.
Yeah, same.
I mean, only one I'm thinking of is it has to be Krillin, because 18 doesn't have an aura, I think, because she's a Jinzo Ningen.
That's right.
And it should be white, but I don't know what it was.
There you go. And it was yellow in the shot where all three of them line up outside of the lab, and they're seeing the water and everything happen.
Oh,
yeah.
You're right. Damn it, I do remember that.
That makes sense why the error is there, though, as opposed to if it was just like a weird error.
Right.
Oh, okay. See that now. I'm upset at myself because I remember seeing that and being like, "Oh, that's weird."
Right.
No, don't you remember? Krillin just has he's pregnant with a baby that is a Saiyan, so he has the golden aura.
Wow, what a twist.
I watched Super.
Yeah.
I could tell. Yeah.
All right. This one is tough because I didn't even know the answer to this one.
Oh boy, I'm sure I'll do great. Yeah.
What is Baron Jagarbata a pun on?
Oh.
Buzz.
All right, let's hear it.
Jaguar butter. I have no idea.
That was a better guess than I would have.
You got half of it.
Okay, so say his name again. Jaga.
Baron Jagarbata.
Okay, so let's think of cats, Colton. All right, so there's you got the jaguar.
Yeah.
What if there's a puma? No, it's not one of them.
I'm gonna tell you right now that you are not on the right track at all.
Dang it!
Because otherwise we'll be here forever.
Let's think cats.
Jaguar batter.
Deep fried jaguar. You've been to the state fair.
Rum Tug Tugger. Is that one of them?
Look. As someone who has been to the Dallas, Texas State Fair more than once, I can probably say for certain that it would not surprise me if they had deep fried jaguars there.
So, because I know that somebody always figures this stuff out, and of course, if I'm remembering correctly, if I scroll all the way up on this forum post on the Kanzenshi forums, it was Herms. Of course it was. Why wouldn't it be?
Oh yeah.
He's got that whole like pun list name.
Exactly. That's what I had to go. I had to go mine that for a bit. So I will just read here. Named for Jagabata, buttered potato, as well as Danshaku imo, Irish cobbler potato. The joke is that Danshaku is Japanese for baron, and so this guy is an actual baron. So it is baron buttered potato.
I never would have guessed that.
No, me neither.
If you asked me to repeat that right now, I would not be able to.
Same. I'd be like, you were talking about potatoes. That's about as much as I was able to keep
I'm hungry, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's okay. These are all tough, and I'm very proud of both of you. Thank you. Round of applause.
Hey. Well, thank you, Randy, for coming up with those.
Yeah. Weird thing real quick. Every time they said his name, the only thing I could think of was what was that bit from part 3 of JoJo where they're playing video games, and the announcer guy, whenever they announce the teams, one of them's just called the Jaggers. Draggers.
Well done.
That always makes me laugh.
Mr. Joester.
Go ahead, Mr. Joester.
Oh my gosh.
God, I love that show. It's so good.
It's a good show. Yeah, better than Dragon Ball. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, I don't know. I think
podcast idea.
No, I like both.
We're starting the war here and now. Shots fired. It's happening.
Welcome back to We Got a JoJo.
We got a JoJo. That's a great podcast title.
We're doing a JoJo podcast, which is great because I still haven't seen part 5, and I'm going to get to it soon.
Episode 20, and we just transformed into We Got a JoJo.
Well, before this devolves into the Otaku Wars or a JoJo podcast, thank you everybody for listening, and thank you every single one of you that submitted your thoughts about movie 11. Super appreciated. I can't say thank you enough. We love talking with you and conversing with you about Dragon Ball, which we all know and love. You can continue to tweet at us your ideas for the show. That's at We Got a Pod. You can email us at wegotapod@gmail.com. Colton, will you help me pressure Doug to read the Dragon Ball Super manga? Because I feel like if there's 2 of us, he has to say yes.
You could send a whole Metacooler army at me, and I will still not read that manga until it's all out.
We could be like the Team 4-star version of the movie and just send a bunch of Metacoolers to kick Doug in the dick until he reads the Dragon Ball manga, and even then he still won't.
It's like them kicking me in the nuts while holding an LCD screen showing me the movie 6. Like, no, fine.
Maybe then Colton, you and I could just do segments where we talk about the manga every month. Or
I'd be fine with that. Have at it.
Hey, you know what? I've seen all of Super. I haven't actually read any of the manga, so that would be pretty cool.
You're in the same boat as I.
I haven't read it. I haven't. I'm not opposed to reading it. I'm just not that interested in the moment, Like
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what
I'm shaking my head so fervently.
See, Randy always makes it sound like you just don't want to read it at all, which I don't really blame you personally, but like,
I have no interest in reading it right now. Like, I want to like wait till it's all out or whatever and just binge it.
I might do what I did with the Super anime and just like every time an arc's over, I'll just read that entire arc. Yeah. There was no way I was watching Super week to week, but that was just me.
That was brutal. No, yeah, I think I would have done that had I wanted to avoid spoilers, but like, so I don't know when this arc is over, so I wouldn't know when to, start reading that specific arc.
Maybe I'll read the Moro arc. I don't know. One day. Maybe, yeah. I'm sure, like, if my co-host Lum were to be like, hey, we should do a podcast on the Super manga, then I'll probably read it, but
How about I at least want to wait until I forget about the spoilers that I've already seen. I already know about, Goku being stabbed in the heart and Vegeta having like no eyebrows or some shit.
Oh wow, I didn't see that coming.
And it not mattering at all.
How about we have
Yamcha going
a new
Super Saiyan 3?
How about we have a different segment on this podcast, and every month it is the two of you who are just like, yeah, we're not going to read it, and then that's it. And then we cut back to whatever else we were doing.
You just start off with a jingle like, did they read the manga? No, we didn't.
Nope. It would make for a good podcast episode if Colton and I had to guess what happened, just from the knowledge we have of spoilers, what happens in this entire arc from beginning to end.
You guess it.
I mean? And just have stupid answers.
Well, while you guys haven't been reading the manga, I've been doing my part of filling in the holes in my Dragon Ball knowledge, and I'm watching the original series. Just watched one this morning. Piccolo Daimao is young again, and Roshi and Chaozu are freaking dead. So,
whoa, dude, spoilers!
So many spoilers! Oh my gosh! I'm sorry, Colton. We should revise you before hopping on that.
Oh my god. If you're listening to this show 20 episodes deep and you're still like, man, I really hope they don't talk about Dragon Ball spoilers. We have a lot. Anyway, thank you.
I'm nowhere near that on my show.
That's true. Well, you'll catch up. You just gotta pick up the pace. Do like 10 episodes an episode. It'll be great.
Oh man. Look, I'm not gonna promise anything.
That's a lot.
Thanks to Rifti Beats for letting us use his track Kakarot theme hip hop trap remix. You can find it and all of his other great tracks on his SoundCloud. Thank all of our sponsors, and I also want to thank Colton for taking time out of his night to join us.
It's a pleasure to have you.
No, thank you guys so much for inviting me. I kind of joked at the top of the show like, hey, I had Randy on my show, so I should repay the favor. But no, it was really fun. And if you guys ever need another voice, just let me know. I'm always happy to come back on if you need someone. So
totally.
Heck yeah. You will be on the list for us to call to bother and be like, come on and talk about this dumb thing with us and tell us what you think. And tell us that you haven't read the manga yet. I'm salty about it, all right?
Does it have dragon or ball or both in the name? Then I'll probably talk about it.
Oh, well, there's a lot of things with the word ball in it. And
this is the part where you usually have to cut off Randy before he starts divulging into that kind of talk. So
I'll cut off myself. Thank you very much. Colton, where can people find you and what are you up to?
All right. Well, I hope you guys have another 2 hours. So I do a lot of stuff, but I'll try to keep this short. I guess like the two biggest things I want to promote. I mean, first off, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter at SniperKing323. I also do my own share of podcasts that I've mentioned on and off here. Basically, I'm going to promote both Manga Mavericks and Another Day, Another Adventure. Manga Mavericks is a podcast specifically where my good friend and I, Lum Ramayasha, talk about manga, basically whatever we're reading, whatever's happening in the news as far as like the industry goes, new licenses, new series. It's a weekly show, and in terms of manga stuff, we never run out of stuff to talk about. So there's that. You can find that podcast over at allcomic.com. Please go listen to that if you're just a fan of manga in general. We've even done our own Dragon Ball podcast where we basically spent like 4 hours talking about the entire manga because Lum and I are huge fans, if you couldn't tell. Again, that's at allcomic.com. And as for Another Day, Another Adventure, basically you can find that at first over on Twitter at anotherdbpod, or you can visit our website at anotherdbpod.wordpress.com. It's basically a podcast where I'm going through kind of my first complete watch of the entire Dragon Ball franchise, because, you know, that's not ambitious or anything. Right now, we're covering the original Dragon Ball anime from 1986 with my good friend Sakaki, a couple episodes at a time. Randy was on the show recently. Right now, you can listen to it over at patreon.com/Manga Mavericks, where I have the latest 5 episodes of the podcast available at any given time, while I'm basically uploading the oldest episodes onto our public feed. Randy's episode isn't on the public feed yet, but it will be in a couple months if you want to wait for that. And we're basically available wherever you listen to podcasts. Again, that's Another Day, Another Adventure, Another DB Pod. If you like this show and you enjoyed listening to me on this show for some reason, I have my own podcast and you can listen to it. And yeah, I guess it's going to be about it for my stuff.
Wow, yeah. That's a lot of stuff, but I'm really impressed with you're able to do all of those things. And we'll pretend
totally
that the call
cut out in the middle of that.
We'll pretend the call didn't go away and we left Colton to talk about all of his
You guys
great
were
things.
gone?
Uh-oh.
That's why you didn't hear a rounding applause after you stopped talking.
Yeah. Take a bow, man. I'm so impressed. You make good stuff, so I think everybody should check it out.
Thank you.
No problem. And again, you're welcome back anytime. Doug, where can the people find you?
Just Jabaz Doug on all social media, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. That's me. How about you, Randy?
Heck yeah. You can find me at Saber_Breaker, and I do this show, and then another one soon. You'll hear about it eventually. Ooh, boy.
Nice.
It'll be fun, and I'll talk about it once it happens. So thank you again, everybody, for listening. Please subscribe to the show. Tell your friends. Post a review. Talk about to your friends about why you like the show and that they should give it a listen and where they can find it. It super helps us out. Thanks again. Have a good time. Get vaccinated and wear a mask.
So long.
See ya.
Cool beans. I have
Clicky,
a White
clicky.
Claw that I've been chugging along. Well, I mostly drank it while we were watching the movie. But like,
Are you sloshed right now, Randy? Is that what you're saying?
oh man, you have no idea. I am having you guys are the best. I wanna.
This is my second sip of White Claw. I am gone.
I'm just over the moon.